cents short of $1, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your hosts. That's Motiz, and I'm Rue. Today, I want to talk about a little bit of X drama or Twitter drama, whatever you want to call it these days. So, Teofimo Lopez pops up on the internet. He's wearing a PBC hat, and he has the date 8/16/25. Right. So allegedly, that's the date that he was supposed to fight Devin Haney, but we're hearing that the fight is off. But also, as I mentioned in one of our previous videos, I would be hard pressed to believe that him and Devin Haney would the same night the Tank and Lamont Roach rematch is, which is 8/16, right? So when you see Teofimo pop up with the PBC hat on and the 8/16 date, knowing Teofimo trolling like antics, do you believe this is more antics, or do you believe there's a serious message to follow at some point in time in the near future?
Oh, man. I think he may be trolling at this particular point in time. Just knowing Teofimo and the antics he's been pulling, the racial antics he's been pulling for the past several months, he got to be trolling. But then again, I'm not sure, right? Because maybe he cut ties with Turkey Al-Sheikh, especially with calling him dictator, which was wow disrespectful. So maybe he feel like PBC might be the only option for him in his career. Who knows? But I'm probably leaning towards him trolling because 8/16, Lamont Roach, Gervonta Tank Davis fight date. How can that even be a legitimate fight date? And then I know negotiations fell through between him and Devin Haney. So maybe that's a direction of PBC. I don't know what fighters do they have. What PBC fighters that are contenders at the 140-pound division? Who are they outside of Gary Russell?
Yeah, Gary Anton is the first that comes to mind. Obviously, you have I don't want to say contender, but I mean he did have a belt. Pitbull Cruz, I think. Rayo lost the belt as well. So I think there are a few guys there.
Couple fights, the couple things there, but
Yeah, but
8/16 day, he's definitely tripping. I don't know what but PBC that might be viable, but I'm leaning towards he's trolling.
With Turkey Al-Sheikh at play, it seems like obviously promotional companies still matter, but it seems like more things are happening, right? Like we see, I feel like you just see guys being given like a pass from their promotional companies to go fight on these Riyadh season cards. You know what I mean? So maybe potentially it could be something in the works. With, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would wear the PB. I don't see a reason for him to troll Tank, right? Because nothing's lined up. Tank's at 135, you're at 140. Unless you have some news that I don't know, like like Tank's coming up to 140 to fight you for some crazy paycheck. So unless you have some news like that, then I'm a bit confused at him potentially trolling Tank per se. So I don't know if he's necessarily trolling that fight. He did apologize to Turkey Al-Sheikh, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, he did. He apologized for his action and calling him like a dictator.
Yeah. But maybe what it is hey, listen, maybe whatever PBC, maybe he is gonna sign with PBC, and whatever they have planned for him, maybe they're gonna promote it that night. Now I don't know if it's the Tank thing, I don't know if it's something else, but maybe that's when he's gonna pop up and make the announcement like, yo, I'm now signed. You know what I mean? I don't really know. Teofimo is an interesting guy because, as I mentioned to you in the past, sometimes he tries to be so witty that he outwits himself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know, but I don't really. I do think there's some linkage to PBC. I don't think he's trolling PBC with the hat. I think maybe it's a turnaround to say, okay, Turkey Al-Sheikh, watch this. Like this is a boss move from my end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just don't think it's a boss move from him. I just think it's a no choice move for his end.
yeah.
I think he got no choice, bro. Because you got to think about it. He can't go to top rank. His issue with Bob Arum.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna go back to Turkey Al-Sheikh as a like a independent entity like Bill Haney and his team. So what you got? What? You gonna go to Eddie Hearn, and that side is not really, they're not really that keen on bringing you on board, even though Eddie would be likely he would work with Tio. You know what I mean? I don't see why not, but I think PBC is probably one of those areas that he's like, what? Maybe that's an area I could, go to because they're not deeply entrenched with Turkey, even though they would partner with Turkey,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm very interested to find out, but I mean, I don't know. I wish he would come out and tell us. But if he were
Yeah.
to go to PBC, like you mentioned, the 140 fighters, like what would be such a big fight for him that he would go there now, knowing the money that he can make with Turkey Al Sheikh? I don't know. Maybe PBC is going to throw a boatload of money at him, and say, okay, the winner of this Tank Lamont can meet you at 1-4. I don't know, but maybe it's gonna be so much money it's irresistible. Who knows? You know what I mean? But it's like, what big fight is there for T.O. unless it's going up to 47? But who do they have at 47? Do you think potentially they could line him up with the winner of Barrios Pacquiao? Like what are they? You know what I mean? That way let's say if he gets a
Mm.
belt and then maybe he presses the boots issue again.
I mean, he been fiending for the Boots fight, which is kind of crazy to me that so it looked like he really wanted to fight Boots. Like it looked like like he really was about, which is kind of weird to me. But the Pacquiao Mario Barrios fight, the winner of that fight is pretty interesting because let's say Pacquiao does happen to beat Barrios, right? In another universe where rules don't apply.
Yeah.
Um, most people would take that fight just because of the payday alone.
Hmm.
So Teal could just kind of like, hey, just give him my pedigree, my fight record in terms of, him beating Loma previously to become a unified champion, him beating Josh Taylor at 140 pounds. Don't mean to mix. So I can definitely see him chasing that fight too, but I don't know if
Yeah.
he would fight Mario Barrios though.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
interesting. So Turkey Al Sheikh, right, came out and said, like, we have to do away with these fights of guys running, right? And I don't think people technically classify Tio as a runner. So that seemed more so like a dig at the Devin Haney's, the Shakur Stevensons, but he's like, he doesn't want to see any more fights where guys are just running. Um, do you think at all that's a chess move by him to lure Tio back in? Like, no, 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 come back. We're gonna actually line this thing up. We're gonna make it happen. And I'm telling you, like, I'm not allowing these guys to do that anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know how he would not allow, but you get what I'm saying? Do you think it could be a chess move to try to say, hey, listen, nah, you don't gotta worry about guys just running and doing all this. You're actually gonna get to fight.
No, I don't think it's a chess move. I think it's just a coincidence. I
Okay.
think this is because of the William Skull situation, which was really the
Embarrassing.
huge, revelation to everyone. Like, bro, that style of fighting is too boring, and it is somewhat running. And this
Hmm.
is immediately after the Fatal Fury card in NYC with Devin Haney in his fight. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like that double effect was like, are we going to address this? And then you have other media folks, showbiz, etc., kind of saying, hey, we should implement a no running clause or some type of rule warning. And then all these other YouTubers, of course, started kind of following suit. So I think it's just one of those things. It's just the timing. And that's the reason why he kind of put it out there. I don't think he really cares about Teofimo, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So I just think he's just trying to just put it out there. And I don't know if it's I wouldn't want. It's crazy. Ironically, I don't think it's really geared towards Shakur though. I think it's just. I know people say Shakur be running, but like I haven't even seen Shakur the way Devin fought. Ramirez. I haven't seen Shakur fight like that. Yeah, the De Los Santos fight, you kind of see he's backing up a lot, but even in that fight, he wasn't moving around like how
Hmm.
Devin was moving around. William Skull was moving around. You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they will kind of address that, but that's just my point.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Shakur and the whole running and whatnot, right? I think the person I would like to see Teofimo fight, and I think a lot of people would like to see this because of the bad blood, is Keyshawn Davis, right? A guy who obviously is going to have to run up to the 140-pound division, right?